They called it the end of the human war. Broadcasts from every major galactic channel showed the final Terran fleet being wiped out near the Obsidian Expanse. No survivors, no distress signals, just silence. On planets across the Concordium, celebrations erupted. Champagne flowed on Altheris, fireworks lit up the skies of Vela Prime, and alien diplomats toasted to a new age without Earth. Humanity, they said, had finally been broken. But amidst the jubilation, a few noticed something strange. The human homeworld was too quiet. No protests, no mourning, no threats, just silence. It wasn't defeat, it was waiting. Because deep beyond known space, something ancient stirred an armada Earth never wanted to use, built not for defense, but for vengeance. And when it arrived, it didn't knock. It tore the sky open. The fall of Earth in the year 2781, Earth was no longer the isolated blue dot it once was. It had risen through war, diplomacy, and raw human stubbornness to become a mid-tier power in a sprawling galactic community called the Concordium, an alliance of over 200 alien civilizations. Despite their inclusion, humans were always the outliers. Emotional, chaotic, and unpredictable. For decades, tensions simmered. Human colonies expanded aggressively. Their cultural exports reshaped alien media. Their AI systems competed against entire planetary economies. And worst of all, their militaries were everywhere. The Concordium, threatened by Earth's rise and unwilling to share power, issued sanctions. When Earth resisted, it became a diplomatic pariah. Then came provocations, sabotage, and finally, open war. The war was long and brutal. Earth lost 67% of its colonies in the first 5 years. Its moon bases were bombarded. Mars was turned into a graveyard. And yet, humans kept fighting. Their resilience became legend. Their losses only fueled more innovation. Earth had fewer ships but better AI, fewer soldiers but enhanced neural combat programs. The Concordium began to fear that Earth might actually win. So they combined forces. 150 species, thousands of warships, billions of soldiers. In a single unified strike, they cornered Earth's final fleet in the Obsidian Expanse. Dark, chaotic region filled with collapsing stars and broken time-space fields. There, they unleashed every weapon they had. Earth's ships vanished in silence, their signals extinguished. Galactic media declared it a triumph. The human problem was solved. The celebration, no one celebrated more than the Concordium core worlds. The leaders on Thalara Prime hosted the victory parade of ages. Alien dignitaries cheered as footage of Earth's annihilation played across massive holoscreens. The High Chancellor of the Vela Confederacy called it the dawn of true peace. Even the children danced in the streets, wearing mock medals made of alloy. Statues of fallen human generals were paraded through the avenues and symbolically melted. Books were written about the war, branding humans as a cautionary tale, ambitious, dangerous, and ultimately self-destructive. But in the shadows of the celebration, warnings went unheeded. A retired Dravati warseer said she had visions of a black storm coming. The Solarian A is analyzing human communication patterns, noted the sudden silence was statistically unnatural. And the archivists of Tall Sun whispered that old Terran myths spoke of a final weapon, a project codenamed RAGNAROK. No one cared. Earth was gone. What they didn't know, they hadn't destroyed all of Earth. The fleet at the Obsidian Expanse was a decoy. Earth knew it couldn't win a direct confrontation. So it built a shadow fleet. For over 50 years, while the rest of the galaxy watched human frontlines, Earth constructed the Deep Arc Fleet in the outermost Oort cloud, a silent graveyard of rock and ice far beyond Pluto. These were not ordinary ships. Each vessel was powered by self-evolving AI minds, trained on centuries of warfare. They were equipped with energy-harvesting cores drawn from neutron stars and experimental gravity-based weapons. More than that, each ship was autonomous, capable of solo operations against planetary targets. The humans who staffed the fleet were different too. Genetically enhanced, psychologically conditioned, they were not soldiers. They were avengers. The very best Earth had left. And they were given one order: wait. Until Earth fell. Until the last broadcast declared humanity defeated. Then, and only then, would they activate Project Ragnarok. The heavens opened 3 weeks after the Concordium declared victory. Everything changed. First, the outer systems lost contact with their relays. Minor trade posts went dark. No explanation. Then, hyperspace lanes near the Dark Cloud Nebula collapsed, not jammed, but deconstructed. AI navigators encountered ghost signals with Terran encryption. And then, on the 23rd cycle of the galactic calendar, Thalara Prime, the symbolic heart of the Concordium, experienced a global blackout. The skies above the city turned black. Not from clouds, from ships, thousands of them. Black, angular, and silent. They didn't broadcast identities. They didn't respond to hails. They simply hovered. Then came the message, a simple sentence. Translated into every language, transmitted across every frequency. We were quiet because we were burying our dead. You mistook silence for surrender, your mistake. And with that, the bombardment began. Judgment. The first targets were military. Command centers, weapon platforms, war factories gone in seconds. Earth's gravity lances didn't just destroy structures. They folded them into singularities. Defensive A's tried to fight back but failed. Earth's war minds had evolved beyond prediction. Every defense system had already been mapped, infiltrated, and overridden. Fleets scrambled, but they couldn't enter hyperspace. The lanes had been bent around themselves. Thalara Prime's atmosphere burned, not from fire, but from data. Earth strike ships dropped neural warfare drones, infecting entire networks. Bank systems, infrastructure, even artificial weather, all turned against their creators. Yet, amidst the chaos, Earth was not indiscriminate. Hospitals, refugee zones, and non-combatant areas were untouched. Human ethics, even in vengeance, remained rooted. But they had a list. Names, coordinates, facilities. Those who orchestrated Earth's downfall were marked. And none escaped. The ground offensive on the 4th day, Earth's shock troops landed. Clad in adaptive armor that responded to thought, moving like living shadows, they emerged in silence. They bore no flags, no ranks. Only the sigil of Earth's lost colonies etched on their chests. Entire platoons vanished without a shot fired. The sight of these soldiers, humans who had become myth-triggered mass surrenders. On Vela Prime, the same diplomats who toasted Earth's death kneeled on marble steps, weeping. On Zurith, the military elite activated self-destruct codes. On Arcanus, a rebel faction rose up, demanding their government sue for peace. Earth's army didn't gloat, didn't execute. They simply dismantled, facility by facility, system by system. Until nothing remained of the Concordium's military might. The message, and then Earth stopped. No occupation. No territorial claims. No demands. Instead, one final message echoed through the stars. Peace was always an option. You chose otherwise. Remember this moment the next time you cheer for annihilation. They left behind no rulers. Only a galaxy forced to reckon with its arrogance. The Concordium collapsed. In its place, smaller alliances formed based on cooperation, not dominance. Earth returned to its silence. A galaxy changed, years passed. Statues were built not of victory, but of humility. Alien children were taught Terran history as a warning. And a lesson: humans never returned to conquer. They rebuilt their shattered world, focused inward. Watch the stars. The reckoning on the devastated worlds of the former Concordium. The realization set in slowly. Billions of civilians, many of whom had never raised a weapon, watched as their old governments disintegrated. The grand halls of Vela were silent. The military towers of Thalara stood hollow. Earth hadn't just defeated their fleets, it had broken their will to wage unjust war. But Earth's reckoning had purpose. They released declassified files across galactic networks, documents proving the Concordium's orchestration of false flag attacks, civilian massacres blamed on Earth, and the manipulation of planetary economies to provoke rebellion. The galaxy saw, in crystal clarity, that Earth hadn't been the monster, it had been the scapegoat. Echoes in the stars, former enemies became cautious students. The Tal'Zun began diplomatic exchanges with Terran historians. The Solarian Aes embedded Earth's war ethics into their governance algorithms. Memorials rose, not to honor the war, but to remember the truth that followed. And still, Earth said nothing. No embassies, no fleets patrolling foreign systems. But probes were occasionally found silent, observing, reminding. A silent promise etched in starlight, never again. Children across the stars were taught the human war not as a conquest, but a warning about fear, manipulation, and the cost of arrogance. The watchers in the deep cold of the void, beyond the last surveyed nebulae, the Ark fleet remained, upgraded, silent, waiting not for vengeance, but for a signal that peace had failed again. Earth had become the galaxy's hidden conscience, a quiet guardian of balance, and perhaps that was the final lesson. Power isn't in domination, it's in restraint. Earth could have ruled, but chose remembrance. Could have conquered, but chose consequence. Because those who once dabbled never interfered, yet the legend remained. They celebrated Earth's defeat. Then the heavens opened up, and the galaxy would never forget. Never forget.